There we
Ain't
go.
no man, ain't no real man to a woman that he's pursuing on a first date or any or really any amount of time is going to ask her what's your body count because he's not
No,
going to give a
actually,
fuck. It
actually,
don't.
you'll hear black women talk like this, and they'll be real confident being in public, being real ignorant. Why would you want to know how many people I've slept with? Well, I want to know if I'm throwing my hot dog down a hallway. Why wouldn't I want to know how many people have jumped on you and treated you like a human trampoline?
Welcome back to the channel. Don Lexi here with another reaction. Tommy Sotomayor. Tommy has audiences all over YouTube.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Thon get into his intro, but good lord, like Tommy be going at people, and it's. I've always found this conversation to be a weird one. Like, why would someone? And they always hit you with the real man nonsense, but I swear, whenever they start the conversation or the sentence with "real man," you know it's gonna be some nonsense. But it's like, why would a real man care what you did in the past and exhibited behavior that you're more than likely gonna exhibit in the future? I mean, we can get into it, but let's just start that theme music.
Welcome to Center Ground, your home for unfiltered discussion, where we tackle today's most talked about topics, break down current events, and give our take on the internet's latest foolishness. Tune in and let's find some common ground. Let's get this party started.
Asking for him to continue to show up to these panels because he's cooking women left and right. Tommy was debating with a belligerent woman about body count, and it got interesting. And I want you guys to pay attention to how she was behaving as Tommy started to cook her up. Hit the subscribe button, also with notification bell. Let's not waste 1 minute.
Know that woman hasn't slept around with everybody.
Nah, ain't no. I feel like ain't no real man.
There we
Ain't
go.
no man. Ain't no real man. Let's just make that plain clear.
I want y'all to catch this dude right here. I didn't get a chance to look at anybody else's face, but the minute she said real man, I want y'all to see his reaction. And it's the same reaction I believe most men have when women start talking this real man nonsense. Hold on.
Nah, ain't no. I feel like ain't no real man.
There we
Ain't
go.
no man. Ain't no
Saw
real
that?
man.
That's the reaction most men have when they hear stupidity like this, because their idea, it's weird to me. And I heard of someone say this in a video today. I can't remember what video I was watching, but every time they speak on what a real man is, it's always someone they can walk over. It's always someone who lets them do whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want. It's never someone who is disciplined. It's never someone who challenges them. It's never someone who sits in a position of authority, who tells them when they're wrong, who tells them they need to do better. It's always the simp who lets them do any and everything they want. And I find it funny because a lot of those men don't actually care for the women. They don't. They're usually just desperate, and they move out of desperation, which is why they don't say anything. You're more insecure by holding your peace and not saying anything when you're in a relationship does something you don't like, as opposed to someone who is more secure, who know that they can probably get on without you if you don't act right, and they're more likely to tell you about yourself, particularly when they actually care about you, right? Because if they will risk losing you by telling you that you need to do better to get right so that they can stay with you long term, I think that's the most secure man you could ever come across. But let me know your thoughts.
Let's just make that plain clear.
Oh,
Look at
God.
God. I
I'm
think
talking
I
about
think the,
to a woman that he's pursuing on a first date or really any amount of time is going to ask her what's your body count because he's not
No,
going to give a fuck. It don't have anything to do with how far a relationship can prosper based on someone's body count. But I'm
actually,
not gonna. But I'm also not going to over articulate and over possess all this passion on this quote unquote one thing of a body count because I don't think it's that deep.
Don't be ridiculous.
Every time a man tries to have a standard in the dating market,
I gotta rewind that. My damn audio went out. Hold on.
there we
Ain't
go.
no man. Ain't no real man. Let's just make that plain clear.
Oh,
Look at
God.
God. I
I'm
think
talking
I
about
think the,
to a woman that he's pursuing on a first date or really any amount of time is going to ask her what's your body count because he's not
No,
going to give a fuck. It don't have anything to do with how far a relationship can prosper.
actually,
Before anyone responds, I'm gonna try to jump in there real quick. Yeah, most men aren't going to ask you for your body count. That's a ridiculous question. I think you're more likely to hear that from young guys who don't have experience dating women and don't have experience talking to women. I think most men who watch women, who understand how they move, especially promiscuous women, you're just going to look at the behavior. You're going to look at how she speaks, how she carries herself, and the things that she does in your presence, right? Women with high body counts don't act like virgins. They just don't, right? Women who've been around the block and sleep with any and everybody don't act like women who are more conservative. They just don't. They tend to be more argumentative. They tend to be more angry. They tend to have a chip on their shoulder. They tend to be more desperate in finding the right man when they approach like 35. They act and move different. I swear, you can tell the way that some people are by their disposition. And when you learn body language, and then when you learn how, like, psychology and why some people behave the way that they behave, things start to make a lot more sense. Like, abused people talk like this young lady here. And you know who gets abused? People who give themselves away to a multitude of strangers.
Based on someone's body count. But I'm not gonna. But I'm also not going to over articulate and over possess all this passion on this quote unquote one thing of a body count, because I don't think it's that deep.
Don't be ridiculous.
And they tend to have that sentiment because those same women often go after men with high body counts. It's like the abused going after the abusers, and then they turn themselves into abusers. It's very strange. It's like Stockholm syndrome. They love these losers who just sleep with everybody. And then they complain about those same losers day in and day out. Right. But again, some women don't care about a man's body count because they would prefer someone with experience. Men are the polar opposite. We don't want a woman that's been with everybody. We don't want to share with everybody. That's not how we get down. Women are more likely to share. You're more likely to see multiple women dating the same guy and being okay with it, as opposed to multiple men dating the same woman and being okay with it. And I mean actually dating. I mean actually being in a relationship, not just sleeping with. Because that's a big difference, right? And it's always weird whenever you see those men who it's like two or more men who are with the same woman and they all know about it. Those men tend to be very losers, or very, like, they tend to be very lame, and they tend to be losers in nature, or they tend to be like hyper feminine.
Every time a man tries to have a standard in the dating market, shame has to be associated with it. She's saying you're not a real man if you pay attention to a woman's body count. That's like saying that a man isn't a real man for caring about if he's dealing with a woman who's valuable or not.
I could sit here and argue for like 10 minutes about this, but I'm not going to waste my time because I just know that I'm right.
With that, with the whole real man conversation, right? If we look back in the past, we can argue that the men back in the past were way more manly and masculine than we are today. The men of the past, when they got into relationships with women, or started courting women or pursuing women, there was an expectation that that woman didn't have a body count. So they didn't even have to inquire about that, because it was assumed that you didn't have a body count. And in this day and age, you're talking about a man today ain't gonna ask a woman that. Yeah, a man today ain't gonna ask a woman that, because most of these niggas out here ain't hitting on 2 damn cents. They don't give a shit how many people you've screwed. In fact, they're hoping that you screwed a lot of people, because that would give them a better shot to screw you on the first night. And
I am very shocked that the women are agreeing here, but he's absolutely correct. And that's what I was getting at earlier. A lot of dudes who don't care about a woman's body count is because they want to be a part of the number. And that's the phrase that the old folks in church used to say, I just want to be in the number.
Yes, I in that number when a saints go marching.
I mean, they had more of a positive reason for saying that they wanted to be in the Lord's army. But that's why men typically don't care about a woman's body count. The men who do care tend to want to build with you. The men who don't care want to use you. And women often don't understand men, which is why I don't understand why women don't take the time to learn male psychology. It would help them in the long run, but they don't care, because oftentimes women like her are just used to being used and abused, and then the cycle just continues. Look at her face. Look at how angry she is, and he just made one point. I can't wait to see the other points this brother's gonna make.
And right now, what's going on with women is women don't want men asking about body count, because They know it's wrong, and they don't want to be embarrassed to have to admit how many dudes they done laid up with before they.
Listen, man, this dude is cooking. And this is what I was talking about. And it's funny. Back in the day, they used to say, if you're ashamed of something, that's usually a sign that you shouldn't be doing it. And we done threw that ideology out the damn window. Like, we live in a skyscraper and we tossed it out the window. It's gone. And it's like, people, we need to bring shame back. We do. And we shouldn't be like over shaming people for any and everything, but shame needs to be a pivotal part of modern society. It seems like when people lost their shame, they're just doing whatever. And it's creating even more problems. Look at how she put her head down, right? Because they know that it's wrong. They know that it's destructive, but it's pleasurable. So they're going to keep doing it. It makes them feel good. So they're going to keep doing it up until it's not pleasurable anymore. And that's when they try to throw that Hail Mary pass and get the loser like some of these dudes out here to try to get them to marry them when it's all said and done. And even most of them at that point don't get it. But I'll let it continue.
They got married.
Put the words out my mouth.
He cooking.
That's the reality.
But Angry, let me say this: if a woman by the time she reached the age 30 and she only slept with 5 people, and a man that's potentially, pursuing accident number, I think she'll be proud to say, "Hey, I'm 30 or whatever. I only slept with 4 or 5 people." That would be a number that she would have no problem saying, because it's a relatively no number. Is
she might not have a problem, but sometimes the men might still have a problem with that. And you can get into the argument on whether it's right or wrong, whether the man has a higher number or not. None of that matters in the grand scheme of things. Why? Because let's say a man has had 20 women that he slept with. If the woman that he's with doesn't have a problem with that number, then that's usually not a conversation that's going to be had anyway. But let's say that man had that many, has that high of a body count, right? A woman might say, I only have 5. And he might still say, you know what, that's not good enough for me. Why? Because at the end of the day, she's most likely pursuing that man to be her husband, and he's more than likely pursuing that woman to be his wife. She has a certain level of standard that she's willing to accept, and so is he. And the more productive that man is, he gets to dictate whether or not he wants to accept that 5 or above or below. Sad, it's not equal. Life's not fair. I don't know why we keep using these same childish arguments. Life's just not fair. And until people understand that, they need to learn to move different if they want the results that they want.
reasonable is respectable. From what I've seen in my personal life, numbers, and this has nothing to do you and I, numbers that are kind of in that area where it's make the man look like, oh, no, I ain't about to invest all this in you. I think that we don't want to have that conversation.
That's very profound as well.
And that's what I was talking about before, where you have these discussions and it's like, when you realize it goes back to that analogy I used before. When you are waiting online and everyone's getting a free burger and you get to the front of the line and you get charged for the burger, you might not want that burger just because you're the only one that got charged. And that's the analogy I use when it comes to women who slept with a bunch of men and didn't have high standards for these men, because most of the times they don't. And then they turn around and then have high standards for you. And if you know anything about women, you understand that the rules that they tend to push change based off the type of man you are and how much they like you. If a woman is making you jump through hoops just to be in her presence, that's a clear-cut sign that she doesn't actually like you. It's a clear one. So, being that you have to be the one that provides her a house, home, car, vacations, luxury items, luxury trips, all this stuff, when she did things with 100 different people and charged them a hamburger, an event, maybe a few drinks, yeah, as a man, you look at that and you're like, nah, I'm good.
Because when a woman only has a small body count, she'll tell you the number really quick. There won't be any like prolonged type of situation where she's sort of hesitant. She won't ask you, why are you asking her that? There won't be any preamble. She'll just tell you the number because it's a good number. But when it's a bad number, there'll be some type of long, drawn-out conversation or some sort of interference. Let's get back into it.
Yeah, I don't think it's no harm in asking.
I don't think she have a problem saying the number.
I agree with you. And if I sound really like I'm talking hella loud, it's because I got my cancellation
You're
headphones
good.
on.
No,
I
you're
like to
good.
hear myself when I talk.
You're good.
What they're trying to do is they're just trying to say this, right? You would ask a man for his job,
And if that man said he had 10 jobs on the last 2 years, you would find it weird. You would be like, oh, I don't know about this.
No, I think no. Let's scratch that. I'm saying. Let me also clarify because I'm also answering, and my comment was based off this specific.
Yeah, I don't care. But like, listen, I love these conversations for the simple fact that a lot of women don't seem to understand the same way they have a list for men to fit to be qualified for them. Men too also have a list, and that list is never going to be the same, right? We don't care about your degree because we're not worried about your earning potential. We don't care about your job, again, because we're not worried about your earning potential. What we're worried about is, are you able and capable of raising a family? Are you able to sit with our children, raise our children, and not destroy those children? Are you able to stay faithful and loyal to me despite what we're going through, despite if I lose money, gain money, if something crazy happens? That's really what men tend to care about. Women, on the other hand, tend to care about things like provision, security. That's why women want to know about your credit score, your job. Women would rather ask you about your current means of employment over how many people you slept with. And I said this earlier, with some women, they don't mind you sleeping with a lot of women because it means that one, other women found you attractive, and some women really, that gets them going. And also, how much money you have, because I need you to have money to take care of me and our children. And it's just the way that it is. Men and women are not the same. I don't know why feminism have tried to push that ideology. You could have just stopped at equal. I think equal is a great point to stop. But even though technically we're not really equal, you could say that we should treat each other as equals. But as far as what we all crave, want, and desire, men and women are not the same. In fact, we tend to be polar opposites. And back in the day, they used to say opposites attract.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's no harm in asking a person what's their body count. If someone wants to ask me what's my body count right now, depending on who it was, if I'm in a relationship with them, I will tell them.
Flag on the play. Wait a second. If you're in a relationship with them, we're not going to get in a relationship with you if we don't know what your body count is or have some sort of general idea of what it could be. You picture a scenario where you've already gotten a relationship and the guy doesn't know anything intimate about you, which is not how it works.
What is it with you anyway? Somebody drop you on your head?
A first date, I think if that's what you're asking me on the first date of us first talking, first meeting, first hanging out, getting to know one another, if you ask me what's my body count on the first date, I just feel like, yes, that is weird.
Halfway. Take a few steps back.
Because what are you focused on?
Taking you serious?
Yeah.
Taking you serious?
That's the right response. The fellas on the panel says taking you serious, which is a very short answer that pretty much sums up what she's looking for. Let's see how she responds.
So a person's gonna take me serious.
The time he's gonna invest in you.
If Fatty just told you earlier, if you were listening, if he's on demon time and want to have sex, he don't care about who you have sex with.
Right.
Who you have sex with. And are you listening? We tell you our secrets. We tell you man code.
It's not even our secrets, right? Like, I literally just said that. Men will sleep with anything. They literally made a movie called American Pie. What did this man try to sleep with? like, come on. Like, if you want to be taken serious, you have to learn what men want. These women fight that ideology tooth and nail. They do their best to not learn what men actually want out of a woman. And then when they don't fit the bill, they turn around and blame the men. It's like, sweetheart, you never qualified. And you put yourself out of contention based off your behavior. And all you had to do from a young age, if mama was smart enough, and I guarantee you, a lot of women like this come from homes where their mother didn't get it either. And it's like a revolving door of stupid. They just keep doing the same thing over and over again. He's about to go in and he's going to say, if you shut up and listen, you would understand how men move. It's not like we're really keeping it a secret at this point. We're telling women, here's what we like. We want women with natural hair. Women go the opposite. Men don't like women with natural hair. Stupid, we already told you. Men say we like women with natural bodies. Here goes the women. Let me get all these surgeries and look like a damn Oompa Loompa. Right? And then it's like, oh, I don't understand why men don't want me. They like Cardi B. No, they like looking at Cardi B. They would sleep with Cardi B. You see how Offset, even while he was married, didn't take her serious. And it's like they don't seem to be paying attention, and they definitely don't seem to be learning, which is why they continue to go around that revolving door of stupid.
And you go, oh, it's weird if he asks about a body count. When it actually shows if a man comes out his mouth, hey man, how many people you dealt with? He actually has interest in you.
What's ironic about this is that this is how women in general are processing RP content, dating and relationship conversations. Men are basically giving them everything they've ever wanted to know about what men are feeling, truly feeling about dating and relationships. And now women are saying, nah, I don't want to hear that. Why are you guys saying that? Why are you asking women what do they bring to the table? Why are you saying that women need to be fit? Why are you talking about who's marriageable and who isn't? And it's like, this is the information you women need to know to do better. Yet all women want to do is say, stop having that conversation.
Yes.
And that's because they have a child's like mentality. It's like you have to understand how foolish this is. I remember when I was growing up, one of the biggest issues I had with women was that I didn't know what I was doing. So I would try to figure it out as I went. And if you do, and I keep saying I'm a troubleshooter by trade and by nature. So I tend to want to figure out how things function. And when I was dating people, it's like, okay, let me try this. Okay, that didn't work. Let me try this. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, let me try this. Oh, that works. Keep that. Okay, let's try this. That didn't work. And that's how you learn, and that's how you grow. Women are doing the exact opposite. They're listening to other single women give them bad advice that never worked for anyone ever in history. And then they just repeat what didn't work. And then they get mad when it does not work. Since when has sleeping with 500 people gotten anyone a ring? When has being argumentative gotten you a loving relationship? When has hitting someone ended well? These people, they do dumb things and then they get angry when you call them out. And it's even, you don't have to call them out in a means of like insulting them or being rude or trying to hurt them, because that's what I used to do. I used to give tons of advice to my female friends because I had a bunch of them. It's funny to me. It is hilarious to me that the ones who listened are currently married. And I'm not touting myself as this relationship guru because I'm not. I just tell people what's common sense and logical. Hey, perhaps if you want to keep your relationship, perhaps you should be nice to the guy. Perhaps you should show him that you care. Perhaps you shouldn't make it all about you all the time. These are simple things. And you can see it, the belligerent, the angry, the dumb ones, they never seem to get it, no matter how simple it is.
How is it weird if the two of you first met and you're trying to get to know each other and he's basically just asking you questions about, like, because for me, in my opinion, if you're not ashamed to screw a bunch of people outside of wedlock, you shouldn't be ashamed to tell people how many people you screwed outside of wedlock.
And look at everybody that agreed, because it's common sense, and they fight common sense and logic. They want to create a world that sits only in their head, and then they want the rest of the world to follow behind what they believe. And it doesn't work. If you're not ashamed, why you can't tell people? Don't get me wrong. I'm a very private person, so I understand not wanting to tell everybody everything about me all the time. But it's like they're secretly ashamed of their behavior, but they can't stop it because they have no self-control, which, if you really think about it, is one of the problems with sleeping with people and having a high body count. It shows that you lack self-control. It shows that your standard isn't a real standard. It shows that you're willing to do any and everything for pleasure. And guess who's not good at long-term relationships? People who chase pleasure. Sit on that for a second.
I feel like there's a different way you can rephrase that.
If the question has to be rephrased, then that means it's a question that women find uncomfortable. If women find it uncomfortable, then that means on some level women understand that their body count matters. No matter what she says, she's going to end up in so many words proving angry man or any of these other people's points on the panel. Let's get back into it.
To hear me out. If a guy.
And before it continues, because I know it's only going to get worse from here. I'm actually enjoying this. I might do the whole 24 minutes, but it goes to show that some people are still children. They still think like children. I don't like the question. It makes me uncomfortable, even though I said there's nothing wrong with it, which is, it it conflicts with each other, right? But I'm not mature enough to have a conversation, so you need to change the way that you're saying things to me. That's literally what everyone is saying that the country is going to at this point. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't like it. You need to change. Like, when in the world has that ever worked?
Straight up and says, "What's your body count?" Like you gonna
she's
have
about
to
to
take
work.
another time and be like, "What?"
Ayana,
Versus if I'm
So instead, he's going to
Anaya,
say how many.
Anaya, I still, I'm asking the name.
and they say, how many relationships have you been in? How many relationships? You know, it's just a different way that you ask what you want to know.
Anaya,
Relationship,
Exactly.
but there you
One second. I just want to clarify this so we can have an honest conversation, right? And then Ali, Tommy, Angry Man can go. Women don't ask, "Hey, Tommy, how much money do you make?" They ask your profession. And if you say, "I'm an orthoped," whatever the L is, you Google it. How much does a doctor that works on this with this amount of years gets? And you go ahead and you kind of see, oh, he gets between 150 to 200. I got it.
Right.
Men are not going to ask your body count. Men are going to ask how many boyfriends, for how many years you've been single. Before the pandemic, you've been single since 2018.
And let me add something else onto that. The other thing that we use to sort of get some sort of rough calculation of what your body count could be is the talk that people talk about you around the community. What people have to say about you, your reputation in general. All that has to happen is that a few men of status say that you're a bust down, and they continue to say the same.
Yeah, this is so true. And I'm glad he brought up this point. I remember when I had one of my first like hood girlfriends, and I really liked this girl. I know my wife gonna be looking at me like, well, you did what? Like, man, that was like 25 years ago, whatever. But like, I remember when I had my first girlfriend in the hood, really. And it was like, you know, everything was cool. And then somebody came to me, it was like, yo, you know, she a slide, right? And I'm like, she's a what? And it was like, yeah, she's been with this person, that person, this person, this person, this person, that person. I'm like, nah, not her. And they're like, yeah, bro, she was with, though they didn't say, yeah, bro, because they didn't talk like that. But it was like, yeah, she been with this person, that person, this person, that person. So I'm like, all right, let's do some investigation. But in the meantime, it does change the way you view the person when you hear things like that. That reputation is important. Even in the workplace, I can tell y'all, my reputation saved my job because people accused me of things. And then people who worked with me for a long time was like, nah, he's not capable of that. Right. So the reputation is important. And everybody knows reputation is important until we start talking about relationships. But yeah, so I did my investigation, found out a little bit more, and I instantly broke up with this chick. I'm like, nah, I'm good. This is when I was a child. This is before any manosphere content. This is before any mentorship. This is back when I was just barely a teenager. I was still a virgin at that point. So think about the mentality. This is a natural response to hearing certain things about people. I wasn't taught this. Remember, I didn't grow up with my father. No man was teaching me these things. It was a natural response. So when women say, oh, well, it's Kevin Samuel's fault, or it's the manosphere, or y'all just hate women, it's a natural response to be disgusted by certain things. And that's exactly what happens to men when we hear these negative things about the women we're supposed to connect our lives with, and they're supposed to have our children, and we're supposed to take care of them. Once you start hearing those bad stories, sometimes they be over. And yes, I know. What if they're lying? Yes, this is why you have to start paying closer attention. This is why the vetting process, which I keep talking about, is so important. You need to get to actually know people rather than asking them questions because people lie. Watch what they do, watch who's around them, and watch how people react to them. When you have a girlfriend and people around the way are giving your girlfriend hugs and they don't mind grabbing up on her while they're in your presence, that should tell you everything you need to know. And especially if she's comfortable with them doing it, that should tell you everything you need to know. That's like that Drake line. He said, same type of hugs I used to do to girls when I know I used to. It's rules to this game. And men have peep game for a long time. We don't always say things. We play dumb sometimes, but we recognize the behavior.
Stories, and then there's correlations between the stories, and then lower level men get a hold of those stories, and then there goes your reputation. And it wouldn't even matter if maybe those bad stories were only 6 guys in one little hot girl week you had. You could be deemed a 304.
Nah, that's still bad. It's still bad. I don't care. That's bad.
In your community for the rest of your life.
So
let me.
And on that note, I'll end it with this. It's like, actions have consequences, and women really need to learn that their behavior, their past behavior, may have a negative effect on their future prospects.
Let me say this. Let me say this one last thing. Let me say this one last thing.
Damn,
Anaya.
Anaya.
It's Anaya.
This is Ali fault. So, respectfully, right? Women just don't like to get straight up question about body count, but men will find a way to circumvent the how many bodies you have and ask 7 qualifying questions to kind of see if you're being outside or not. And if they can get it, they get it. They don't, they don't.
So hold on, Anaya, slow down. Anaya, slow down. If I slept with all the women on this panel, would it increase my value or lower my value?
Lower.
Listen.
Increase.
I'm gonna
for a man. He's a man.
Can you answer it, please? To society and the women and men on the panel.
Just to cut it off real quick, you see how the women had different answers, right? Some women said higher, some women said lower. It depends on the women. You may not know if it's most women would prefer men with a higher body count, but we know through behavior and past behavior that women tend to not mind men with a high body count. So my logical brain is going to say that a lot of women, if not most, don't mind a man with a high body count, as opposed to flipping it. When you ask that same question to men, most men are going to say no, regardless. That should tell you that men don't like that stuff.
Would it increase my value or lower my value?
Who knows this information? Is this just public knowledge?
Okay.
You slept with everyone on this panel?
So
It would
Anaya,
be public
I will
knowledge?
say this: if I slept with all of you, it would increase my value to men and women. If you slept with all the men, it would decrease your value to men and women. If you saw me walk outside this building with 20 women on my arms, you'd be like, damn, who was that? If a man saw you walking out, all women with 20 men on your arms, they go, ooh, that's a jump off. Our value is deemed different, and there's double standards. I'm not expecting you to protect.
Yes, there is double standards, for
provide,
sure.
but your lower count will determine whether I want to protect and provide for you.
Let's get Angry Man and Tommy over here, and then I need to bring up Turreal, so he wants to say something. Go ahead, Angry Man, and then Tommy interrupt you, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, and the silence it's loud. And we don't have to like it, but that's just the way that people view things, right? It's weird to me. If you want to be a male social media influencer, you don't take your clothes off. That's not what's going to work for you. You get on a yacht, you get on a boat, you go to some remote island, and you have 20 beautiful women on your arm. People will then pay attention to you. Women do that, it's not going to work for them. Guess what they can do? They can take off their clothes. And that's usually how most female influencers get popular. Look at the male influencers and what made them popular. They either have to be funny, financially successful, or get a lot of women. Women, on the other hand, don't need any of those qualifications. They just need to be hot. Like that's usually how it works. They don't need to be charming. Hell, they could barely speak a language and some thirsty dudes are going to follow them. It's just not the same game. We're not playing the same game, which means we don't play by the same rules, which means it's never going to be fair.
What Ali is saying is 100% correct.
And I'll add to that. There's some women in the workplace and people don't like talking about it. The only reason why they have success is because they're either sexually attractive or facially attractive. Oftentimes you find people who have great success. It's not because of their actual work. And that's for men and women alike. Most people don't get promoted based on the job that they do. They get paid based off how much people like them. And men and women are liked for different reasons.
Woman with 100 men is a zero, but a man with 100 women is a hero at the end of the day. The thing that I can't understand is how can a person who has chosen to operate in a disrespectful way expect respect? Like if you're already disrespecting yourself, because the way it works is when men and women are born, right? Men are born at the bottom of the mountain. Our job is to climb up the mountain. We have to achieve shit. Women are born at the top of the mountain. Your job is to stay at the top of the mountain. Every time you sleep with someone who is not a husband and you're just sleeping around, you come further down that mountain. And a lot of y'all are meeting dudes halfway down the damn mountain. And that's why you keep catching hell when it comes to relationships. Now, the thing that Ali said that I disagree with.
And before he goes in on that point, what he said is how most men think, whether you like it or not. And to make matters worse, when women sleep with the losers of the community, it drops them from a 0 to a negative. If you find out that this girl slept with the drug dealer, the dude living in his mama basement, the dude that got 11 kids, that lady is below low. And a lot of women don't seem to understand that. Your value diminishes based on who you're with. The same goes for men, believe it or not, but it's different. If you're a man and your wife is not a respectable woman, people look at you like you're less than a man. If you marry and or have a baby with a 304, no man is going to have respect for you. You could have the most rich and powerful man in the world, but if they actually do the pretty woman thing and sleep with a hooker, stripper, prostitute, or just a straight up 304, someone who just gets around, that man's respect level drops significantly. What's crazy is an average looking man with no muscles, no physique, not the most handsome person in the world, if he has a loyal wife by his side, she does not have to look like a supermodel. But if everybody knows that's so-and-so's girl and you can't get to her, that man will be respected. And it reminds me of the J. Cole line. He said, I could hit yours, but you can't get mine. That's just how men think. Like it or hate it or love it. It's just how men are.
It's not that they're choosing to be single. They don't know how to be in relationships. They don't know how to spot a good man from a bad man. The man that cares about how many people you slept with is the good dude.
Come on.
The dude that doesn't care is the bad dude.
And did y'all see her face when he said that? They're telling her there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm gonna count down 6 men, but she can only see 5. All of them are saying the exact same thing. And in her pea brain, she's still thinking that they're wrong, which is why women like her will forever be single. She's probably destined to be someone's baby mother, not their wife. And if she does find some sucker to actually marry her, that marriage more than likely won't last long. But luckily for her, the way the court system is, she'll probably still get the children and that person's money. But again, this is why states like Kentucky is starting to get rid of that stuff, and the divorce rate dropped by 25%.
It's simple.
Every time that one of the men in the panel start to get into a deep, preamble about whatever that they have to say, or they start to get into a speech, she tries to intentionally shift her attention elsewhere. A very dismissive body language tactic to try to dismiss the men who are trying to help her learn about men.
And she will end the conversation by saying that they hate her. They think like children. Some of them really behave and think like small children. And it's sad. But one thing I want you all to recognize, and I think she's going to continue doing it because she's been doing it. She puts her head down whenever they're telling her the truth. Sometimes body doesn't lie.
It's almost like...
And I guess the body count don't lie either.
Like she's acting as if she's being attacked because men are trying to help her understand them. This is so reflective of how all podcasts, when it comes to RP content and dating and relationships, are being treated. Women are stepping up and coming to the conversation and having opinions, but they're really not listening at the end of the day. Let's get back into it.
I just asked my wife, and she said most women.
Tommy, go ahead, and then we get too real and interrupted. Go ahead.
Me or the other one?
I'm tight because I really wanted to hear what his wife had to say. Because I do that too. I ask some of these, as uncomfortable as some of these concepts are, I ask my wife what she thinks. Because it's important to know both sides, but I at least listen, as opposed to people like her who believe they know everything. And I guarantee you she's probably currently single, which I swear doesn't make sense.
There's only one Tommy on the panel.
Oh, I did. He was talking, and his name is Thomas.
What, Tommy?
Hey, is your name Tom? Is your name Thomas too? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Hi, Thomas. How you
All
doing,
right.
sir?
Doing all right. Look, I tell you what, and there's no offense to anybody, y'all know I just talk kind of plainly. A lot of times the biggest problem, especially in the black community, black women got too much voice, got too much mouth, and the fact that you let them speak, and we think that they'll be saying things and won't even know what the word means, or say the word wrong, and just be talking and seeking words and saying, well, it's the way that you said it. Well, you got to understand, a real man. So when a woman can tell you what a real man is, that is a problem. Because usually when she say what a real man is, it's always somebody that accepts her and won't question her. It's always a real man for that one.
Did not say that. It's like literally always go to any clip that you've ever found of any woman talking about what a real man is. And it's always like that, where they just love telling you the guy who will accept their nonsense. It's never someone who's going to challenge them.
A real man will get with a woman who
Look
has
at her, she's
kids.
looking down.
Haven't
Look.
y'all heard that? How many of y'all black men heard that?
Yeah, see, even Thon caught it. You see, she looked down again. It's a pattern, and it's hard to stop the body from naturally reacting. This is what shame looks like. Deep down, she knows what they're saying is correct, but up here in this little part right here, she can't accept it, because if she accepts it, it means that there's something wrong with her. And you have to understand, when people actually have real problems, one of the hardest things to do is admit that they have real problems. What is the first step of recovery? Mind you, I'm not a psychologist. These things are just patterns, and you don't need a degree to understand human dynamics. Just pay attention.
A real man will be with a woman that's got kids. Who says that? A bitch with kids?
I said the same
What's
thing,
gonna
Tommy.
be next? A real man should get with somebody that got AIDS. If you're real, it's really stupid. But you'll hear black women talk like this, and they'll be real confident being in public, being real ignorant. Why would you want to know how many people I've slept with? Well, I want to know if I'm throwing my hot dog down a hallway. Why wouldn't I want to know how many people have jumped on you and treated you like a human trampoline?
She knows that she's being cooked right now, so what she's trying to do is she's trying to act as if she's paying attention to somebody. But notice that she keeps glancing back into the conversation periodically, because Tommy Sotomayor is pretty provoking at this point, and this is what has made him popular when he gets into these rants. Watch out, because this is literally why this man has gone viral, and they tried to chase him off the internet the first time.
Stupidest thing I've ever heard.
They actually tried to chase him off the internet multiple times, because sometimes he does say dumb things, but that's the problem when you have people who tell the truth or people who want to see change. They tend to go a little bit overboard or overboard by most people's standards. Like, just telling the truth is going overboard at this point. That's why I stay in trouble. But yeah, it's like this is a cop out, and they go talk to people. They start laughing. They pretend like they can't hear. It's all the same tactics.
Why do you care? If you like me, I don't know you. You know why we on this first date, lady? Because you had a fat ass and titties. And I said, let me get your number. I didn't know a damn thing about you. Didn't know your last name. Probably didn't remember it unless I put it in my...
And before he continues to go in, this is why I tell people to stop going on first dates with people they don't know. You can save yourself a lot of time, a lot of headache, a lot of heartache, and a lot of money.
A damn phone. And usually, y'all tell me if I'm wrong. When I put your name in my phone, it's Big Booty Betty I met at the mother Publix. That's how I labeled you. So for you to sit there and tell that mother lie that I'm supposed to be trying to get to know anything else, no, I need to know if I'm serious about Big Booty Betty.
Haven't you noticed that the...
I'm just going to say this. I know the editing on this video is going to be annoying, just for the simple fact that he curses so much. Good Lord.
woman who rose the bad talking points, now all of a sudden she's the person who's mainly distracted, and she's the least interested in trying to be corrected. I think this is a glaring piece of symbolism if we all just pay attention to this really.
Before he says it, and I want to see if we're on the same page here, but again, I keep saying the same thing because I just need people. I need it to resonate with people. And I've done public speaking before, and I know the power of repeating yourself, which is why I keep repeating myself. She's behaving like a small child. If you've ever is it rose or raised? If you ever raised a child, I guess it's raised. If you ever raised a child, you will know whenever you're disciplining them, they behave just like this woman is behaving. Just like it. They look down, they look away, they can't look you in your eye, they start fidgeting, they do a whole bunch of other stuff. They try to change the topic, they try to talk to other people. She did all of these things just like a small child.
Because like I've been saying, in totality, this is the way all the women in the community have been dealing with the conversation. Remember, we just covered the video on Kendra G yesterday, where she's talking about a whole bunch of like belief systems and talking points that she's saying that the opposition of her has to say that they don't even have to say, which is proof that she's in the conversation, but she's not listening. Like, this is what happens when you have conversations with men and you've already convinced yourself from the start that you're against them and you're going to disagree no matter what. And you're not here to listen to a black man. But I'm here to tell you, black women, this is why y'all aren't getting married. And this is why you women marry the least, is because you're the only demographic of women in the dating market that looks at your men and say, I desire you, I find you attractive, but I don't want to listen to you. And don't dare try to make me listen to you. And of course,
yeah, we have a respect problem in our community because black women, especially young black women, are open and just arrogantly disrespect black men at a moment's notice. And they do it like it's a sport, right? And I find it troubling that so many black men have the same complaints. My girlfriend, my wife has more respect for her boss than she does for me. And then they wonder why they're the least married, and they wonder why they get divorced so frequently. And it's not because of abuse. It's not because of financial issues. It's because of inconsolable differences. And what I find most amazing is, even despite the levels of disrespect, most men still don't leave. They still don't leave. But it seems like we aren't learning as a people. If it was me and I was a woman, the first thing I would look at is the statistics. And I would see that black women are the least married on the planet. And then I would question why. That's just me being a troubleshooter again. I would question, why are we the least married? And then I would see, okay, what are the common things that women do? Do they work? And then I would be like, okay, so those don't work. Let me do the opposite. And instead of doing that, you just get discontent and hatred for black men. And then they're blaming black men for their behavior. Why would anyone marry that young woman? Especially after seeing this nonsense. It's on the internet now. It's like, talk about reputation going down. Imagine you marry that woman and your boys come across this video. Imagine how little they're going to respect you for it, for your decisions. Don't matter what she looks like. They're going to lower their respect for you.
Of course, that doesn't make any damn sense.
In aisle 7 was trying to get her number 2. So I want to know how many of them she let hit. So therefore, I could either be the hit or I could be the take you on a real date. Because I ain't taking your mother the chops with every other chop that. So it's a good question for me to ask.
Hot dog out what?
Right, it's a hot dog down the hallway, just a women in can't do no damage. She don't even know when you started or when you finished. Anyway, you sitting up here saying these things, it makes no damn sense. You know who making these arguments? Hoes. Hoes is out here trying to make arguments and tell they.
It's the Amber Rose syndrome, right? Remember that walk, the S walk that she did? Right. And I remember when she first got that started, I said she's doing that because she's won and she's trying to get the world to accept her. That's what everybody does now. They do their debaucherous crap and they try to get the world to accept their behavior. They try to change the world to fit them rather than they fitting the world. And it's causing more and more destruction. It is rather convenient that she sparked the conversation the minute he started cooking her. It's rather convenient. And it's like you're on a whole panel, but you're talking to somebody else right when they're proving that you're wrong.
Thinking you shouldn't care about this. Don't. When I buy a car, I want the Carfax report.
And that's another thing. I never saw her go to mute the audio. So that means she can hear everything they're saying. She's probably not even, there's probably no one actually here.
When I get up, I want the Carfax report. Let me see
the question is, does she go right back to the conversation when he finished? Because he tends to rant for a while. So I want to see.
Carfax. I want to know who been in this. Why? Because I'm about to go in it. And what they want men to do is not respect themselves and their bodies. That's why if a woman asks you to put a condom on and you be like, I don't know about this, she's going to look at you like something's wrong.
He's right. And that's why you hear so many women say, I don't want to date a guy who listens to RP content. I don't want to date a guy who listens to Kevin Samuels. I don't want to date a guy who values himself. They say these things because they missed the day when men were off balance and men weren't ready for the bull.
Yeah, and to add on to that, I remember when we were younger, like I said earlier, we didn't have this level of guidance because so many of us weren't raised by our fathers. You know who had that guidance? Men who were raised by their fathers. So they tend to have better outcomes. They tend to have better relationships. And it's funny because the women who they get with, women like the lady at the bottom, they hate those women. And I mean, they hate them with a passion. Why? Because they wish they were them. They wish they could be like those same women, and they don't have the mindset for it.
How you fellas will feel if a woman tell you take.
But again, this is how the internet is now. Thank God that people are so dumb that they expose themselves online. I was just saying how some criminals are exposing themselves essentially by freaking posting everything they do. Right? This lady was just arrested and she might get 10 years because she was using food stamps to fund her business. And everybody was focused on how she got caught. I'm like, why she do that? Like, that's dumb. And I guarantee nobody snitched on her. She probably snitched on herself. She probably posted stuff. Somebody, her caseworker probably was like, wait a minute, how are you funding all of this when we give you money to eat and survive? But that's just the way the world works. Everybody just exposes their crimes online because they look for attention and clout. And because they do that, it's giving men the blueprint of what to not look for. I'm telling you, all of these type of women have a certain look. And when you start seeing these nose piercings, and when you start seeing the baby hairs and the way that they wear their hair, the way that they speak, the way that they dress, they all do the same thing. So it's making it easier to weed them out, which is why they're probably, I can see in the next, probably by 2030, we're just going to start seeing like man bashing content. Either that or the polar opposite, where women are begging men to take them. I guarantee it. It's going to be one of them.
On the first date.
They don't even ask
Like Beyonce said, flaws and all.
men to put it on anymore, do they?
Right. But you would think if you put it on and she said take it off, you'd be like, whoa.
You're gonna be like, how many niggas you told to take that? You're gonna be like, how many you told to take that condom off?
Right. It's just like me. Huh?
I think they don't understand that very few things are new under the sun. They want us to think that everything they do with us is the first time. It's only us. We're so special.
And that's biblical, by the way. There's nothing new under the sun. None of this is new, right? We only think it's new because people are exposing themselves. But make no mistake, some of y'all grandmothers are doing this, great grandmothers, great aunties. And this is why some of these people, it's funny because I grew up in the church, and the church has an overabundance of single women. It's weird. But then when you get to know some of them, you like, I see why. And it's like, it ain't always divorce and death. Sometimes it's behavior and attitude.
It's never been done before.
Women do that. Right before they're getting ready to like do something for you, like intimate in the bedroom, they'll always say like, oh, like I actually only did this a couple of times, or they'll say like, you're the only guy that I've ever done this for, okay? So, you know, I'm just, you know, whatever. And the next thing you know,
hey yo.
Hey yo, what the
you're like wondering how she has all these skills and how in the world she can do it so well if she's never done it all these times, she says. Let's get back into the clip.
Household. That's why we are subjected to listen to someone like that young lady and think she's saying something intelligent. Her father know what she's saying is stupid immediately. Somebody tell me I'm lying. If you was raised around some
Just, yeah, he's killing her right now. But look at her. She wasn't talking to anybody. You see how now she's holding her face? Holding the iPad over her face. There wasn't nobody there. She was faking it that whole time because she knows she was wrong.
man, you know what she said was ignorant. Hell, she know it was ignorant, but she know like and she can talk you simp in the that's all it is. You I'm glad that Ali said it. Don't nobody give a what none of these being. We want to that's it. I wouldn't ask you. I don't even know what their first name is. I don't know your name because that's not what I'm trying to do. But if it gets to the point where I want to have something serious, I'm going to ask questions. It was a shame, Ali, that she didn't understand. I used to love giving that analogy of business. How you going to tell me I should be more strict about where I put my business than where I put my penis? You a idiot. No offense, young lady. I'm just saying a idiot says that. Because if I put my dick...
Did y'all catch that? Forget what he was talking about. Forget what Tommy was talking about. When he said something that hurt her feelings, she dropped that iPad and she had something to say under her mouth. That means she's listening. She was faking the whole time. Let me see if I could catch it.
I'm just saying, idiot says that. Because if
saw that, that's what I was talking about.
If I put my you and I get HIV, that's gonna last with me forever. If I put my name on a signature for a business, can separate that if it don't go well. As a matter of fact, black women are so backwards. Think about how many black women y'all have heard say this word. They got a baby by you ask, are y'all getting married? Nah, that's a big step. Hold up, you can get married in Vegas in a drive-through and get.
Yeah, you could get married in 30 minutes or less. Like you literally could have a drive-through wedding, and they think having a wedding or connecting themselves with the same loser that they had a baby with is a big step. But they don't think having a child with that same loser, that child sharing that man's DNA, that child possibly looking exactly like that man or behaving exactly like that man, because that DNA is literally just lines of code that we are imparting. I swear, when I got married to my wife, I feel like I hit the jackpot, because if my children act just like my wife, I don't have much to worry about. Jackpot.
Divorce the next damn day. But if I get you pregnant, you stupid, you got 18 years of this motherfucker, and then after that, you got to put him in the world, and he could turn into Jeffrey Dahmer. But it make more sense for you to think about marrying me than reproducing with me. Only black women say stupid like that, and only black men listen to stupid like that because your mama probably was a stupid like that, and she told you that stupid, and you thought it was normal. And this is what we have to change.
Yeah, and like a child, she couldn't take it anymore, so she cut it off. She was getting heated. Watch the ramp up. Rewind it a little bit. Watch the ramp up. She was getting more angry, more angry. She tried to hide her face and he wouldn't stop. She got more angry, more angry, more angry, more angry. Cut it off. Just like a child. She ran away. Now, here's the funny thing. She'll probably come back. I don't know if there's enough time. She might come back when she calms down. But if they were in person, she would have either hit him or she would have tried to get some weak man to attack him. Guaranteed. And this is why I tell black men, stop letting these women use y'all as attack dogs. Because guess what? The dude that does that for this chick will go to jail for hitting him. He'll heal. He'll still talk that way. She'll go sleep with somebody else. And she probably never would have slept with that loser dude anyway because she was able to control him like a puppet, which means she has little to no respect for him. And then she gets to continue living her life, sleeping with whoever she wants, and will probably do it to another man because their simp is born every day. There's always a new one on the assembly line.
You have to change this thought of a lot of women. I'm not saying a lot of women shouldn't be heard. I'm just saying they shouldn't be heard. Meaning this, after a while, when you listen to somebody and they say it, and it's usually based on their feelings more than what they know and what they can prove, you shouldn't build anything with that person. You wouldn't build a house if came to design your house said, I feel. You wouldn't build a car that said, I feel. Y'all wouldn't get on a plane when it told you how he felt when he was building it. No.
And if you haven't put it together, he's talking about logic. There's people who have this belief that logic over feelings. I personally believe feelings do play a part, because if you're only logic based, like you would throw your kids to the wild if you didn't have enough money. So feelings do play a part, but you have to live using and leveraging logic first, not feelings first. People who do feelings first tend to lose a lot. People who use logic first, it might take them longer to get to success, but they tend to succeed. This is why logical people tend to have long-lasting marriages. Overly emotional people have short-term relationships and don't understand why.
Oh, he better tell you what the know, because that flight gotta work. And when it comes to relationships, you can tell we don't take them seriously. Because if a woman asks you, you ever slept with a man? Imagine if you said, you shouldn't ask me that on the first date. What do you think that woman would say?
Analogy.
She gonna be like, boy, you gay.
Gay.
There's no way around it. Yeah. So, and I always say that, just flip it. Flip the logic. It works almost every time. Do to them what they do to you and watch how things change.
You did, and I listened.
And that works for both men and women. Use people's logic against them.
Hey, Tommy.
I wish we said the word.
And exactly, I'm glad the woman said that the woman would leave, because women wouldn't even wait a second. They wouldn't even hesitate. They would just move on to a guy.
That was in some TV show where she found out that her boyfriend slept with a dude one time and it was over. She was in love with dude until she found that out and then was disgusted by it. The same way I mentioned earlier how I was with someone and I found out that she was with mad other people and I was instantly disgusted. I think it's a biological imperative that does that to us. I don't think it's something that we just think of. I don't think it makes you homophobic. I don't think it's like shaming or any of this other stuff. I think it's just a natural thing that occurs within us.
Who is clear about that answer? Let's get back into it.
It shouldn't matter. Oh, well, it shouldn't matter that me and my boys had an orgy together. We told the to leave. We just started each other when we was 19. But that was just had some, had some El Jimador that night. It'd be fucking up. But it shouldn't matter. I'm 30 now. And I'm gonna say no like
it's
that.
just unfair deals.
Hey, Tommy,
It's unfair deals all across the board.
There ain't no bankruptcy that can wipe out an STD.
Right. Yes, you can't file, what was it, chapter 7?
Chapter 7 to get rid of.
Or chapter 11, I think that's the other one, because that's what all the rich people file. They file chapter 11. All these corporations. You can't get rid of certain things and it sticks with you. So the past is important. Simply put.
It's a new now. We can start over again and file chapter 13. It doesn't happen. So when we are asked questions, if we won't even ask, if a say, well, where do you work? And we won't tell her that, she'll write that down as a reason why I don't want to with this. There's a lot of reasons we get written off as men, but women don't want to play that same game. They want to get.
And the other part is we accept it. We accept it. I've been there before, and it's like I didn't want to tell my job, not because I was broke, but just because I don't like telling my business. So if you're only judging me based on my employment status or how much I make, then I don't want you anyway, right? But I understood before answering, like, yeah, I'm not going to let you know that it can end with trouble. I remember I got pulled over, my first flagship vehicle, luxury car. I bought it. And the same day I was on my way home, I got pulled over by a cop. He was talking to me about the car. He liked all this other stuff. He was asking, he said, how much did you pay for it? When I tell you, the conversation went south when I refused to answer that question. And I knew it had the potential of going south. It's just the way that I am. So it's like, yeah, you have to understand as a man that when you don't answer certain questions, it makes you look bad. Well, guess what, ladies? When you do the same, it makes you look bad.
The same damn thing as everybody else get. That's why old now always talking shit about young. I'm just as good as a young woman. No, you ain't. You ain't got no but a couple of eggs left. You're 45-year-old. You ain't got enough to make a omelet. This young woman do better than you.
Me think about Kendra G for some reason. If women think that men don't have to value body count, then they really must think that we're just mindlessly picking them and that we're really picking with our small head and we never even consider our actual brain when we're out here in the dating market making decisions. The women actually try to shame the men.
Well, they don't think that men think. They don't think much of us. They don't have much respect for us. There are women who literally believe that men should go to war and die. That's it. They think your job is utility. Pick things up for me, build things for me, buy me things, take me places, pay for my bills. Some women literally think that's a man's job. That's all they care about. And they think you're expendable. Why? Because there's always someone there to give them attention. I guess I'll close it out here because there's only a few seconds left. But yeah, we need to learn. There's a few things. This is my longest video. Wow, I didn't think I could talk that long, but this is my longest video. And I'm going to say this. First of all, shout outs to you for listening this far. Thank you so much. But I wanted to add, women need to learn to respect men. If you don't have a level of respect for men, you're never going to have a happy, long-lasting relationships. On the opposite side, I will say women also need to learn to respect themselves. You giving yourself away to a multitude of men is not a respectful thing. It's not a respectable thing, and no one's going to respect you for it, no matter how hard you try. Is it unfair that men get away with it? Absolutely. But I do think that it's because men have to actually work for the privilege of getting women to like them, as opposed to women just showing up. You can find the ugliest woman in the room, and I guarantee you that woman could have a high body count. You can find a woman that does not take care of themselves, and I guarantee she could have a high body count. It's the sad truth of things. I've seen crackheads being able to get somebody, you know what I'm saying? Some men have no standard. Personally, I don't like those type of men. I think they're helping with the destruction of society, but it's just the way that it is. And it's like, if you're trying to be like the people who are at the lowest on the totem pole, guess where that's going to put you? We have the ability to learn and grow from each other, but I think women have to start by getting a better understanding of men. Men have learned what women do. Men have started a whole manosphere to talk about what women do, how they do it. And even before Kevin Samuels and the manosphere, guess what? Men were talking about this in barbershops when women weren't there. That's why men hated when they started integrating beauty salons in barbershops, because you can't talk as freely. That's why most men don't go to barbershops that have female barbers, unless that female barber is either a lesbian, acts like a man, or thinks like a man. So this was a good one today. The longest one I've ever did. Wow, I'm actually smiling. This is the longest video. But I mean, come on now. We can learn from this. We still have a chance to turn things around, but we got to start teaching our young children. I think this current generation, I think if they're like 15 and up, I think they're kind of lost, because I think they've already been taught nonsense and they're just going to go with it. You kind of got to wait for certain things to die out and certain people to die out to get real change. I think we have to start teaching our young children now before it's too late. And I think we're approaching the point of no return if we continue. Let me know your thoughts. This was a good one. Body counts matter. I don't care what people tell you. Some people who tell you it don't matter is because they want to get with you. So it matters. And it's about time women start to learn why it matters. All right, I'll holler at y'all. Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to the Center Ground Podcast. We'll be back soon with some more great content. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on the video. We are in a new channel, and growth is essentially our main objective. So send us an email at centerground thegrowth.pod@gmail.com with any ideas or clips you would like for us to review. This was definitely fun, and I'd say let's do it again. But before you go, always remember, greatness lives somewhere within you. Just make sure you're taking the time to find the key to unlock that greatness. Until we meet again, I'll see you soon.